This video is about doing major cleaning of your coffee roaster. As you can see, I've got this roaster completely tore apart. Looks like it could never be fixed again, but it's actually no big deal. What we've done is we've taken off all the panels so we can get to all the parts. Any place that chaff and debris can get to, it will find a way. So we're going to talk about getting that all cleaned up, getting it nicely lubed, and this should be done depending on how often you use your machine, every 3 to 6 months. As you can see here, every potential panel that can come off is an area that should come off every few months to vacuum out. If you let it go too long, you may have to do more than vacuuming. An area like this underneath the cooling tray, some roasters, such as our BC models, the cooling tray completely lifts off. On the Sedona, the new Sedona allows it to pop off, I believe, but on this model you have to remove this panel as well as on the Oro, and so you want to regularly remove and vacuum underneath of it. What you want to be careful of is the electronics also run under here. On this model, the thermocouples run through this area, as well as the wiring for the mixing and then the attachment to the cooling motor on the side. So you just want to be real careful when you clean it out that you don't do any damage to that part of the roaster. And most of the time you can just use a wet dry vac to clean up under there. On the older Sedona models, they have a vent in the front and the back, allowing you access to the burners. The new brand new 2017 have a much larger panel you can take off, so you can easily access the burners. But you can take this off to clean it. You can also, if you ever notice any reduction in gas coming through these lines, take that off and clean the injectors. You might have to take the unit out on this older model, or you might be able to just screw off the burner stem and use perhaps a paper clip or something, or even smaller, to get down in there and make sure all the injectors are clean. And then of course you want to vacuum all that area out as well. Generally speaking, you don't need to take off this front cover on a roaster, but if you do, this, I just wanted you to see, this is what they call the shaftless drum. Yeah, it still has a shaft from this point on and in the back on the outside of the perforated part, but the shaft does not run all the way through. As you can see, there's still nice blades for turning the there's actually 2 sets, a smaller set right here and then an elevated set right here for turning the beans as they roll in the drum. But since I've got this open, you can see it can't hurt to do a little cleaning of the walls of the front plate. Don't use a chemical or anything, because that could affect the taste, as this carbon steel, similar to some extent to cast iron, does absorb a little bit of the flavoring. But obviously you want to clean where the viewing window is, and if you got like a putty knife, you may want to scrape this down, or just make sure it's nice, smooth, even surface. And any buildup of chaff or debris you can scrape loose to keep that all clean. The piping is a huge factor. You want to if you run a pipe brush through it regularly, you won't have a buildup like this, but since we haven't, you can see a buildup to where it's like a crust, to where you may need to take a gentle brush, nothing that would damage the metal, but to clean that out. An area that's often forgotten is the electrical room, and then the room that houses the motor. These will get debris in them. I made the mistake of adjusting the drum wrong, so you can see some beans even came down to here, which is what motivated me to work on this machine. But also, I've been needing to do a video on how to do a serious cleanup and maintenance of a roaster. Another area where chaff and debris build up is in the pipes leading to and from the chaff unit. Most people are pretty good about cleaning their chaff unit as far as vacuuming it out, but in time it can actually build up resin on the sides that might need scraped or brushed. And if you regularly brush the smaller tubes or smaller pipes, you won't get a buildup like we have in this. This is a typical pipe brush with a very long flexible line, so it can be pushed in and out of components to clean them out. You can pop this off right here, clean into that, clean that out as well. A very simple removal of a clamp here, and you can begin to clean. If you do this regularly, now you want to be really careful on the manual dial damper. You don't want to do any damage to the component, but if you do it very carefully, you'll get a nice clean surface on there. You may actually have to use a smaller brush or even other tools if you've let it get as bad as this particular model has got. But as you can see, it's regularly doing this with all the pipes will really keep your unit in top shape. One of the best tools you can use for cleaning is a wet dry vac. A decent quality stainless steel one works great. And once you get all the debris cleaned up, nothing beats a good old-fashioned cleaning with a brush and a soft cloth and getting the gunk out of all the little nooks and crannies of the unit before you put it all back together. And that way you got your machine in good shape. The way you take care of your machine will determine the years of life that you have, and you can have one of these machines last for 10, 20 years or longer if you take really good care of it. If you ever take apart a machine as much far as I did, I always recommend taking pictures before you take it apart. Always put every part, every bolt in a safe place, because if you lose one of these bolts, while we probably can get you one in 2 or 3 days, that would be 2 or 3 days downtime that you could have avoided had you been safe about how you took the entire unit apart. And by taking pictures before and notes or pictures during the disassembly, it'll answer questions you have about assembling it. And then of course, as you can see, while like I'm doing here, when I'm tightening on this front plate, I'm doing it similar to like you would on tightening a tire, opposite ends, tightening down so that it goes on perfectly even. And then when you put your bearing in, as well as this unit, everything will go right into place. I wanted to talk to you about cleaning your cooling tray. Unfortunately, a lot of folks forget that keeping those holes in the cleaning tray clean is vital for airflow and for cooling the beans, and also to not risk damaging the motor. There's a little product by Palo. It's called the Rollster. It's designed specifically to not damage your roaster while rubbing over and keeping the cooling tray clean. You can use this while it's off, or you can turn your roaster on so that the debris is quickly sucked out. Another little cool feature about this is it has a built-in, I don't know what you call it, I'm going to call it the poker. and it allows you to poke through safely through any rough holes or so forth that have been clogged with debris, and you can do that pretty rapidly. It's a little bit of a specialty item, so it costs a little more than what I'd like to see, but it's going to save you a lot of money down the road by keeping your cooling tray functioning properly, and that's vital for coffee to cool in 2 to 4 minutes in the cooling tray. So we recommend it. You can buy it either through us or you can buy it online anywhere, but the important thing is that you keep your cooling tray clean. So you don't have to use this brush, but you should use some sort of brush and have some sort of poker that allows your cooling tray to be kept in beautiful condition. And always clean your cooling tray at the end of the day so that it's sanitary. This is all 304 stainless steel, but you want to keep it in top shape and clean at all times. Just wanted you to get a view of the roaster after I put it back together and cleaned it up some. As you can see, it's running great. So it's very important every 3 to 6 months if you use your roaster a lot, or maybe every 6 to 12 months if you use it casually, to tear it down, clean out all the pipes, clean out every place that debris could end up, and give it an overall touch up in any parts that might need replaced, or you notice wear is happening like a front bearing or something like that. Be sure to replace, but always keep good track of all your screws and bolts so you don't lose any, and then you should be good to go.